Hello, Church. Pastor Tim here, speaking to you this week from the confines of my home office. If you were tuning in on Sunday, you might remember at the end of the sermon I asked a couple of questions, and I asked if you would respond to those questions, and thankfully many of you did. In fact, too many for me to include them all here today, but I'm wanting to include them all. So I'll begin with the first question and give you some of the answers that we received. When were you the most excited or felt the sense of the deepest connection to our church? Some answered lengthy responses, others short responses. Let me give you one. I started attending NHCBC mainly for the kids' sake and to set a good example. I attended, but it was just a building, and I liked the people, but there was no strong connection. However, after a while, the nominating committee asked me if I'd consider serving on a board. And I was flattered and honored and started to feel a real connection. I loved being on the board. I enjoyed the many years I served as chair and always felt connected to being part of the discipleship of the church. The next big event was when Joanne Klaus and Gail Litweiler asked me to be in the choir. I had not sung since grade school, and I was really flattered that Joanne and Gail, two very important people in the church, were the ones who asked me. And once I started in choir, I really began to feel a deep connection to the church. I looked forward to coming each Sunday, and I even started teaching Sunday school. For a few years, I still miss the ritual aspect of the Catholic Church, but that's been replaced with the personal relationship I now have with God. And I love being part of a community of believers, and I still love being in choir and helping move the discipleship of the church forward. Another responded, "It's been a while since I felt a connection to the church, but I would say in the past when it felt like a team for Christ and not like we were bystanders." Another member, "When did I feel the deepest connection? The day I walked the aisle to join the church." Another answered, "The Christmas, Easter, and Rally Day services are when I feel most excited and connected to church. Although I then feel a letdown when so many people I see at those services don't come to worship regularly. This last year, I've been energized by the Sunday school class taught by Brianne, Ron, Gary, and Pastor Tim. I've learned so much from that class, and the discussions have been so interesting." Another member said, "I felt most connected with the church when I was in a leadership position. I was leading and involved in many church projects, and I had lots of communication with church members." "I felt most connected to the church after our church baby shower before we had our daughter. I was so overwhelmed by the love of the church members who gathered to celebrate our coming baby, and so comforted to know that we would be starting our new family within such a supportive community." Another of you answered, "What I like best about NHCBC and when I feel most connected is the joyous celebration with music. My favorite moment was last Christmas when the choir processed into the sanctuary with the bells. It epitomized my ideal of Christian worship, and I felt completely joined to everyone there." Those are the responses I've received so far to that first question. And for those of you who haven't responded or were not able to see the service on Sunday, let me repeat the questions and remind you that you can easily email them to me at timothy.e.spring@gmail.com. So the first question we asked were, when were you most excited or felt the sense of deepest connection to our church? And the second question is, what is one wish or hope or dream that you have for our church? And next week, I'll go on to question number 2. But I look forward to hearing from you, too. All of these responses go into giving us a picture in time of what the church looks like and what the church might be in the days to come. Hope you have a good week. See you next week.